I just started realizing that this book, it was bullshit. It was complete and utter bullshit. So eventually I stopped calling myself a Christian. I still believed in God for quite some time. I actually would have kind of considered myself a deistic agnostic for years, and stayed that way for quite some time. Although I didn't tell anybody that I wasn't a Christian anymore. That's just my own internal definition. Kind of kept that part of me completely separate and private. At work, I still have some very, very good Christian friends, and would talk religion with them. And usually, if the topic got onto the Bible and they were saying something that said one thing and it didn't, I would correct them. And I'd still talk as if I was a believer in most cases, just telling them what the Bible actually says about different topics, or if they would ask me, I would answer. Never telling them I didn't actually believe it anymore. I knew what it said, but I didn't believe it. And I got in a discussion with one person. I don't remember exactly what we were talking about, but something he was criticizing science, how science was wrong, and science has all these things wrong, and how science can't prove anything, something like that. I don't remember exactly what it was, but it was a discussion between whether theory makes something real or means it's completely bogus. We weren't actually talking about evolution either. Well, not directly, just about the scientific definition of the word theory. And he brought up gravity. And he said, well, gravity is a law. And I said, no, well, gravity is a thing that we observe. The theory of gravity explains how we think it happens. And he says, we can't prove gravity. So I picked up my lunchbox and dropped it on the ground. And I said, I just did. It's observable, you can see it. The theory explains why it falls, but the fact that it falls does happen. And another one of my friends was walking by and was kind of laughing because of the whole conversation, just that little part that he happened to see. And so he started asking how the topic came up, and I ended up admitting that we're talking about the Bible and religion and all this stuff, and I just told him, I said, I don't believe in it. I don't think the Bible's true. It's got too many holes and too many errors. And of course, as a good friend and a good Christian, he took it upon himself to lead me back to the flock, I guess. He wanted to show me that the Bible was true. So we started a discussion about religion. Now at this point, I still considered myself an agnostic deist, and talked with him quite a bit. And he brought up some good arguments, and I brought up good arguments right back, and kind of contradicted some of his, and we went back and forth. Each person scoring points on different topics and so on. And I started realizing that just the deistic viewpoint was impossible to defend. I couldn't defend that a God exists and I just don't know why, or there's no evidence to show that God exists. I just think it does. That's not a position. That's a belief, and the real world isn't obligated to line up with my beliefs or my wants, regardless. So it didn't matter how much I wanted a God to exist; it wouldn't exist just because I had that desire. And more and more I studied, and the more we debated, the more I realized I'm not a deist. I'm not an agnostic. I would consider myself an agnostic if I thought that a God existed who intentionally wanted to hide himself from everyone. But since most religions claim that God actually wants people to know he exists and to worship him and praise him, I couldn't believe that God would also then intentionally hide himself and make it impossible for us to just see that he exists. So I soon considered myself an atheist, and been there ever since. I'd say probably became agnostic at about 20, maybe atheist about 25, and been there for about the last 5 years. That's kind of a long video, but hopefully that explains it a little bit better and tells you a little bit about where I'm coming from. And to your question as to why I do these videos and why I put things up on YouTube, the answer is simple. I don't want anyone else to feel as lonely and alone as I did when I started doubting the Bible and started doubting God. I want other people to realize that they're not alone. There are a lot of people in the world who share their same concerns and who don't believe. I also want people who don't believe and are too afraid to come out of the closet to realize, again, they're not alone. There's a lot of us, and there's no reason to hide anymore. Thanks for watching, and see you later.